I kind of went a long stretch without drinking any coffee. Like, as soon as it gets warm out, I just naturally stop drinking coffee as much. But then recently I remembered, wait, I still have coffee. I can be wired right now. Why am I not wired?
Are you okay talking about your new job that you're starting tomorrow?
Yeah. I am working for a place called Pasta Sisters, which is a restaurant. It's like three restaurants in LA that I guess were founded by like an immigrant Italian family, and they make all their pasta in one central place, or all the pasta and the sauce and everything. And I will have the job of going to the different restaurants and delivering them all of the food from
All
the
right.
central food location. And part of this job, actually related to this podcast, I will have to go grocery shopping sometimes.
For what?
Because they cook everything in this place, so like I have to go get the raw food for them to make it.
So are you going to be coming down the aisle with like a shopping cart with like 300 pounds of flour or whatever? You're just going to like clean out the local Vons with like all the pasta flour that they need?
I wonder if they if they have a special pasta grocery store, like if there's a special underground pasta network that I'm going to be tapped into, or if I'm just going to like Ralph's. I don't
There
know.
are really good restaurant supply depots all around LA.
That has to be probably where I'll be
yeah.
going.
I love them. Some of them you need like special proof that you are a reseller, but some of them you can just go to. There's also a Costco for businesses, which is cool too. They have huge things. Yeah, that's in like South Bay kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't Costco inherently supposed to be for businesses, and it's just like they've like let that slide over the last decades?
If you, yeah, I mean maybe, but if you go to this place, you'll really understand what they're all about. Like if you want to get 300 hot dogs,
Yes.
you can do that.
Always.
yeah. Or like 30 like sterno warmers and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
I used to go to one in Pasadena that our friend Kara, who works in the restaurant industry, used to like, she'd lend me her pass to go get stuff for when I was doing my pop-up, like to get trays and tongs and like disposable little paper trays to serve a hot dog in or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was doing that for a while. Like I was going to LA enough that I could borrow her card and like run that errand. And then towards the end, so I stopped doing the pop-up really in the pandemic. I wasn't going to LA as much. And I did a few, as the pandemic like kind of eased up, I was doing some more outdoor things, like kind of on the tail end of the pop-up era for me. And I would just go to Smart and Final.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I would get significantly worse like paper goods.
Yeah. Smart and Final is a really strange grocery store. I feel like you two should do a whole episode just on Smart and Final, because it's like it seems like it's aimed at food trucks and stuff. Like it has all the stuff to run your own restaurant, kind of. It's almost a restaurant depot, but it's also almost a regular grocery store.
Mm-hmm. It's splitting the difference and satisfying nobody, I'd say.
Yeah.
And this is such a peculiar thing that my partner picked up on immediately. But I was going to this restaurant depot for the stuff for the pop-up, and I would get these little paper baskets that you'd serve the hot dogs in. And I started going to Smart and Final, and they only had one type, and I got it home. And my partner immediately looked at the ones I got from Smart and Final, and she says, "These are blue." And I hadn't noticed it, but like the ones I was getting from the restaurant supply were like red checked. And then Smart and Final only had these blue ones. And she immediately clocked it. And she's like, blue is not an appetizing flavor. This does not look as good when you give this to somebody. These should be red.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is red more appetizing? Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, I mean, McDonald's went with red.
I mean, it's a color of food.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Raw food. But
Cherries, strawberries. I mean, I guess blueberries are blue, but that's a weird blue.
Yeah. Blueberries are the exception that proves the rule, if you think about it.
We have a segment on the radio show that I do, which is my day job. And the segment is we'll often try bizarre foods on a Tuesday. They call it Try Tuesday.
Yeah.
Today we tried blueberry pie Oreos.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I like Oreo flavors. I like some of the Oreo flavors that you try are whack, but generally I like them.
the blue, they tasted good. They tasted like blueberry muffin to me. I'm not eating a lot of blueberry pie.
Yeah.
But the blue was like a really disconcerting like color.
Like the color of an avatar?
It reminded me of when the little girl got exploded in Willy Wonka.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A
that's
little
gross.
darker. I mean, I think the avatar is more appetizing. Sorry, the Navi is more appetizing than the blue Oreo.
You would prefer to eat a Navi?
Yes, I think so. Only the Sam Worthington one, though.
My controversial Oreo take is Oreos are the worst Oreos. Pretty much every brand that makes their own fake Oreo, I like more than Oreos. I like the Trader Joe's Oreos more. I like the Newman's Owns that are called like Numinos. I like those more. I like Hydrox more.
Those hit hard. Oh yeah, Hydrox is the original one. That's the OG Oreo. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think the Oreos, the cream is a little bit too much for me sometimes. That's my one take.
We didn't cover it on our show because it's we don't do as much breaking grocery store news, but Aldi's got sued by Nabisco for their Oreo knockoff looking way too much like the Oreo.
Oh. Yeah,
like not the cookie, but the packaging.
Oh, okay.
It looks identical. They use the same color, same design. It's like they didn't do any difference. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, the Oreo people were mad. Enough people. I mean, even though they're the original knockoff artists, they just knocked off Hydrox. But you know what? Good on them.
Oh, look at this. It's the same company. They also stole Nutter Butter and Chips Ahoy. Like pretty much perfectly. So
when it comes to the Oreo versus Hydrox, I mean, the history books are written by the winners. You know, Nabisco with the packing of Mondelez. They certainly, you know, they get to determine who was first. Well after the fact.
Gingerbread Man down. Clean up on aisle podcast.
You have been listening to Clean Up on Aisle podcast, the dirty truth about grocery stores. I'm Jef Harmatz, here with my co-host Adam Fligsten.
Hello, Jeff.
And we are here with our good friend and fellow podcaster, David Allen. Hello, David.
Hey, thank you for having me. Doing a podcast exchange. You were on our pod?
Yeah, we already had your other co-host as well, which will have aired by the time this comes out.
Nice.
So yeah, we have everybody. I had a great time on your podcast. That was a blast.
Yeah, I got a little drunk on that one, I'll be honest, but it was a good one.
So you do the podcast Loose Lips with Nate Foston, who was on our show, and Adam and I popped in to be guests on your show. We did it in person at Nate's place in Highland Park, and I did see you drink a lot of beers during the show.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, you were very conveniently passing them out. So, you know.
Yeah, it was like drinking. It was like being on an airplane, and I had a lot of money, and someone just kept bringing them to me, so I'm gonna take them.
I will stop offering you beers, but I'll never actually stop offering you beers. I'll constantly be offering you beers. So
I wish there was a way. That's the one thing that this thing is lacking, is you can't through the computer hand me one.
Well, it was a really, really fun show, and I always tell you every time I see you, and I hope it's not annoying to keep saying that, but your podcast is the only podcast. It's one of my favorites, but it's the only podcast my partner and I can actually agree on.
That's awesome. Love it. Joe's cool. That's you both have good taste.
Thank you. But anytime we're driving like a long distance or to Los Angeles, like she never wants to listen to any of my podcasts, and I never want to listen to any of hers. And she's like, "Isn't there a Loose Lips out?" And I'm like, "Yes, there is." Perfect. And I started saving episodes of your show to like for when we do have long drives and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's like, maybe there's a new story of Nate shitting his pants I haven't heard.
I mean, how often does he do that?
That was like, it was kind of an ongoing thing in the early episodes that Nate kept telling stories of him shitting his pants, but you know, that was a while ago. We moved on.
I remember the infamous one where he like picked someone up and dropped her off at a date or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one?
All kind of run together.
I don't think we told any embarrassing stories about you, David, when Nate was on our show. So
Yeah,
He can take it.
yeah.
so are you excited about your new job that you're starting tomorrow? Possibly involving the grocery stopping. Certainly involving the food industry.
Yeah, I haven't worked in food in a while. The last food job I had was I briefly worked at Grand Central Market like 6 or 7 years ago for this little booth. Grand Central Market, if you don't live in LA, it's just like, I guess in theory at some point people went there who live downtown to get produce, but really now it's just a lot of like bougie little eateries. And I worked for one called Valerie Confections that was like, mostly they focused on like desserts, but they had like a few savory items. And yeah, working in food is very stressful. But this job is a little bit easier because I'm by myself most of the time. I'm just like driving around running errands, and I like to do that kind of thing anyway. I like having a task and then they're like, you go do it, come back. I like that.
I've got to ask you about Valerie Confections.
Oh, you know it.
I hope
Okay.
I hope this isn't too inside baseball for LA people. I used to live in Echo Park in Los Angeles before the desert, and right around the corner from my house was this little, it was on Echo Park Boulevard, and it was like a little storefront called Valerie Confections.
Yep.
And I always wanted to check it out, and it was like never open.
Yeah, they had weird hours. I would work at the Echo Park one too. They would trade me around. The lady who ran it, Valerie herself, not a nice lady. Very, very mean lady. That's ultimately why I wound up leaving that job, because everybody I worked with was really nice, but whenever she would come in, it just made it a nightmare. Everyone freaked out. And also working in, like, the Bear is an accurate representation of what working in restaurants is like. Like, it is stressful as hell, and people yell at you, and you feel like after, like, a dinner rush, you feel like you were in a war zone.
You find a bunch of money in tomato sauce cans.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Well, how was she mean? I mean, I don't want to get you in any legal trouble, and we can edit this out, but like, a confession, I'm a little bit of a boss right now, and I'm like struggling with trying not to be a terrible boss. Like, I've got some people that work kind of under me, and I'm like, bet they'll go home and say, fucking Jef Harmatz, what a riding my ass today, what a fucking monster, you know? Like,
no, I don't think so, Jeff. I can't imagine you being a terrible boss. She mostly, like, she had like very young children, and like they were like toddlers, and she would talk really, really sternly to them, and she would not modulate her tone from that when she talked to her employees. It was the same voice for both. And it just drove, like, I remember at one point, the one that really sticks out to me is at one point, they bought like the giant industrial thing of tuna, and she wanted me to get it out of the can, and I was like pulling it out of the can into like a metal chafing dish or whatever, and as I'm pulling out, she's like, stop. You are molesting the tuna. Please do not molest the tuna.
Wow. I've never heard that phrase before, and I mean, by handling the tuna, it's getting molested, right?
Yeah, I guess. Well, her thing, what she said was that because she wanted to have like a high-end restaurant, the tuna had to be like very big chunks, because if not, it looked like the cheap tuna you get in cans. And I was like, I don't think anybody cares on their tuna sandwich what it looks like, but
They would care if they knew that a tuna molester was working the job.
yeah, if that got around on the internet, the whole place could be shut down.
I mean, imagine if you are opening up your tuna salad sandwich and like peeling back the bread and being like, what the fuck? This tuna is too small. I ordered the big tuna.
It's been molested.
And Adam, I mean, this brings up a really interesting point, and we'll probably have to talk about this in a later episode, but the Grand Central Market, like, as you were saying, David, like, it used to be a place where like it was small local vendors, and like you could shop there. You could get meat. There were like butcher counters, produce, fish, dried spices. It was like, individual stalls, like an open air market, kind of just selling a variety of stuff. And as downtown Los Angeles kind of got gentrified, it turned into like, and I like these places, but it was like, $30 hamburgers and vegan ramen, if that's fair to say.
Oh yeah, that's like mostly what it was. And when I was there was like still a couple of the old booths who had been there since the 80s, but like every couple weeks, like they'd be closed and replaced with like whatever the like poke or whatever the hip food that of the moment. Because like booths come and go, and then like the big one that was there when I was working there was egg slut. Like there'd be like half-hour lines for egg slut.
Oh yeah,
and
still are. Yeah,
yeah, I've had it too. It's like okay, but I wouldn't wait an hour for it.
David, we're a clean podcast. Please don't say that.
I can't believe they called that restaurant Egg Slut.
No, I didn't. I never got over that.
So, so my dad works downtown, and like my partner lived downtown for a while. We were there kind of during the shifting of the guard for Grand Central Market, and there was like a ceviche operation that was out of the Grand Central Market, like, you know, Mexican style ceviche, I guess the original poke, at least in LA.
Yeah.
And my dad, who would work in downtown LA, would go to the ceviche place all the time. And when it closed and got turned into, dried broccoli rabe jerky or whatever, artisanal nonsense went in, he was devastated. And then he found like a much weirder food court, like in a deeper pocket of downtown LA, that the ceviche place like moved to.
I think I know the one you're talking about, because I did find the other food court. I wish I could remember what it was called, but yeah, because I also worked downtown after Grand Central Market. I was like a dog walker downtown, and I learned a lot of nooks and crannies through that. There's also, have you ever found in downtown, there's like a weird hidden underground mall? Have you ever been there?
The one, yes, I've been there.
There's like an escalator that takes you down.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's bizarre. Yeah. It feels like one of those, like what they say about these like back rooms or something like that.
Yeah.
You're like not supposed to be there, kind of.
It's a liminal area for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can I ask you very quickly about dog walking in downtown?
Yeah.
So for those who aren't familiar with downtown LA, it's very dense. It's condos, it's high rises. Like if you live downtown, chances are you're in a loft or an apartment. It's not houses. And my partner lived in downtown. My sister lived downtown. They used to have big pit bulls, and they hired a dog walker that would take the dogs out. There were, what's the Marmaduke style dog? Is that like a Mastiff?
That's a Great Dane, I think.
Great Dane. In my sister's building, there was like a guy with a Great Dane, and he would like get the Great Dane on the elevator up and down. He probably lived on the 9th floor, and it felt absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But I'm told that like Great Danes and some of these bigger dogs actually do enjoy like living in a smaller unit. Is that true? Do you have any experience?
I did walk a Great Dane, and it's true because Great Danes are sort of an abomination that man shouldn't have done to animals because they were bred so big and their limbs are so long. A lot of them, they get joint problems. Like they're so gangly, like they don't have the stamina to go very long. So they're actually counterintuitively good apartment dogs because it's actually uncomfortable for them to go on long walks or anything.
And how was dog walking in downtown LA, which at the best of times, and I think has only gotten more so in the last 10 years, quite chaotic on the sidewalks?
Yeah, I had encounters on the sidewalks. Like at one point, somebody was like, just became fixated on the dog I was walking and literally just kept following me and like trying to grab at the dog. And I had to pick up the dog and then run into a building and like get in the elevator and go up and try and hide from this guy. Yeah, I had a lot of weird encounters, but it was like a weird mix because the people whose dogs I was walking were often like so crazy rich, like a level of rich that like we don't even talk to or know. Like it would be people whose apartments I'd be going into, and I would go in and there was like an army of people who worked for this person. Like I would go in and I would see the cleaning person working and the grocery delivery person working and then someone doing this and someone doing that. Like every part of their life, they had a different person coming in there. And then a lot of times I would get like emails like, yeah, I'm not even going to be there this week. I'm going to be at my other apartment in London. Like that was pretty frequent. Like, their super fancy LA loft was just one of their places. Like that was their American spot. They probably had a New York one too. And it was wild. Yeah, it was just insane.
I never really understood. I mean, I like downtown, but I like downtown because it's got a lot of sort of chaotic energy, like you say.
Yeah.
I for someone like that, it's weird to imagine them move. There's many places in LA that a rich person could move.
Yeah, I wonder, maybe it's just that, like, I mean, it is one of the few parts of LA where you can have sort of an urban experience and walk around and not need a car to go from place to place. But it is a very specific type of rich person. Like, it's a different type of rich person than, like, a Beverly Hills rich person. Like, maybe they're, like, usually younger and kind of think of themselves as, like, bohemian, but they're, like, extremely rich bohemian.
My partner did do a article. She's a writer, and she did an article for, I forget which magazine it was, but it's about how you can live in downtown LA, and it's a part of Los Angeles where you actually don't need a car, and you can get Ubers now, and you can get you used to be able to like do a smart car or something where you could like rent it for a few hours at a time. And she's like, actually there is parts of LA where you don't need a car. But she didn't mention in her article that she had a boyfriend, me, with a car that would come and pick her up from downtown LA all the time and take her places.
I remember that article. I didn't know if you were going to air her out like that.
Yeah.
We're in our nature. We're getting everybody.
all our loved ones that we hold so dear.
So speaking of dogs, and maybe this is an interesting transition into talking about grocery stores.
Yeah.
You've got a dog. Is it Yam?
So, Yam, and hopefully you didn't hear Yam too much at the beginning of this podcast. She was kind of going nuts, but
that's okay. I've not met Yam, and by the way, I bring my dog to the radio station all the time, and she barks like all the time when I'm doing the weather, and people enjoy it. People like to hear the dog, I'm told.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, one day you'll meet Yam. She'll try and bite you the first time, but then eventually the second time she'll love you.
So, sounds like your dog's a little bitey.
Yeah, she's she like once she likes you, you're good for life. But yeah, we've had issues. We're trying to work on it, but yeah, she's a little bitey.
She nipped at me one time.
Right.
She was protecting Petra, but I get it.
Petra doesn't need a bodyguard.
Previous guest, I think we talked about it when he was on our show, but previous guest on this podcast, Todd Perry's dog, bit me one time and like chomped through my pants. Actually, like I had to get new pants after that.
Oh, so. Wow, that's bad. That's cartoonish. I wish the pants had like the dog bark outline of it.
Yeah. And classic red and white.
Yeah, Yam has bit our friend Brian's butt, and Brian reported to me that it felt like getting stapled in the butt.
Ouch!
So, yeah. So that's not good.
I guess, how do you know what it feels like to be stapled in the butt? Is that just...
I wondered that too, but you know what? I'm not going to shame anybody onto their kinks or whatever, so like, you like butt stapling, that more power to you.
But I was going to ask, has your dog Yam ever been to the grocery store?
She would lose it. I don't know what, she would have a meltdown, because like, the smell of even some food makes her freak out so much, like a building full of food. I don't know how she would handle it. I took her to a restaurant, though, an outdoor restaurant, and she actually was okay. We went to, I'm blanking. It's like a fish taco place in Silver Lake, but they have an outdoor eating area, and, because Yam likes food so much and has bitten people, we were actually really worried, but she was fine, actually.
Generally, and this is for everybody, what do we think about dogs in grocery stores?
I'd say I'm generally... seems kind of weird and gross. I mean, I guess if you really need to have a helper dog, then fine, or have one. But otherwise, I just don't feel like I don't want the animals around the food. I mean, I guess if it's mostly packaged food, so doesn't really matter. But I don't know, it just feels weird and off to me.
I feel like I don't remember the positive interactions because, like, you'll pass by a cute dog and you're like, oh, that's a cute dog, and you kind of won't think of it. But I remember negative interactions very vividly in these types of things. So I don't know, maybe I'm biased in that way, but I don't know. Generally, I would say it doesn't seem like the place for dogs.
What's your thought, Jeff?
Well, Adam, when you remember the positive memories, is it PAWSITIVE? Positive?
Yes.
This is a complicated one in my house. I'm generally opposed to bringing my dog into a grocery store.
Yeah.
I live in Yucca Valley, which is rural and not very walkable, and I'm doing my very damnedest to make it walkable. So I will walk a long, great distance, and I'll go to a restaurant or a bar. And if I'm walking back with my dog, I want to hit up a grocery store, I will do that. I will bring the dog in very quickly. The same grocery store, my partner will bring our dog in. If we three are on the way to the dog park or on the way to a party, and I'm going to run in and get something, she's like, well, I'll bring the dog in too.
And there's no rules, and they never say anything, right?
They do have a sign up front, but at least under the previous management of this particular grocery store, the cashiers had dog treats behind the register to give to dogs that came into the store. So it was like technically not allowed, but it was like, oh, you can bring, don't bring your dog in here, wink, wink, and elbow you, and then here's like a milk bone for the dog.
Yeah. I feel like it's different where you live, too. Like, maybe I'm reading into this, but it feels like, we're kind of out there. It's country folk. I mean, not really country folk, but I don't know. It feels like the rules are a little bit more lax. So you're not in the middle of a giant urban area like we are, but
when the people you're calling country folk, it's probably the guy you were dog sitting for who has the apartment in London, also has his like big house in Pioneer Town and is bringing his dog.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely reading wrong.
He gets like a hay seed when he comes up to Joshua Tree.
Real quick, I just remembered I had a really weird grocery store moment like about a month or two ago, and I wonder if either two of you know what it is I saw. But I was at a Sprouts. There's Yam. I don't know if you just heard her.
I sure did.
Yeah.
Hi, Yam.
I was at a Sprouts grocery store. I'm sure it's been talked about on this pod, but there was a guy in there, and he had like his cell phone on like a selfie stick, and he was like live streaming his own grocery shopping, and he was talking to the chat where he's like, hey chat, it looks like Brussels sprouts are $3 a pound. What do you think about that, chat? Like he was literally like talking to a chat about his grocery shopping. Like, are there grocery streamers? Is this a thing?
Well, they call them IRL streamers. So basically, they just anything they do. So yeah.
Okay.
And you've really made it when you're not filming yourself, when you have a dedicated camera person, which they do. Some of them do.
Wow. This is a whole aspect I'm not. It was kind of better in my head when it was just like this culture of grocery people, but sure, real life streamers, fine.
I mean, we do a podcast about grocery stores, so we're not that much better.
Yeah. So I'm traveling to Germany soon, and I've been a little content brained because I'm thinking about going to a grocery store and what content I would make. And for a brief moment, I considered that I would, just look in the camera in the grocery store and talk about it. But I was like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. I'll take some photos and maybe do a report after the fact, but that would just embarrass me too much. Maybe I need to get over that. Maybe this is some millennial stuff that we're just like yelling at clouds, and we need to get over that. I don't know.
Yeah. In 10 years, grocery stores will just be full of camera crews, and we got to get used to it.
I take selfies in grocery stores, and if I'm like at a grocery store with a pal, I'll say like, hey, come here, let's like take some pics, and I'll do some content in a grocery store for sure.
But you're not talking. You're not recording content. That's, I think, the line that I am uncomfortable to cross.
I don't like to be in other people's content. Like, Adam and I were at a pop-up in Yucca Valley over the weekend, and this lady just got out of her car and like had her phone on a rig and was just like filming us. And we were just like waiting for food. And I don't advocate violence, but I just kind of wanted to like shove her. Like she was like little kids on the fucking school ground. I'm like, don't film me, and just do a shove,
Was she saying anything, or she just
no? She was like walking back and forth, like in front of the store, like getting her perfect like zoom shot as she was walking up to the store that the pop up was at. And I was like sitting in front of the store. I was like a little surly. And I'm like, I don't want to be in your content, ma'am.
Well, we also happened to be in a particularly grumpy mood because of other things that were happening around us. So like she didn't capture us on our best moment, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely seek out her content. I'm just going to be Googling Yucca Valley pop-ups, and I'll see you two looking really pissed off.
Yeah, we should be like street thugs, like flicking a knife open and closed.
Anytime that there's a person doing like video content, we've got one of those like electronic pulses that just shuts out electronics for like the like 500-foot radius, and they're just
Dude,
like, looking at, shaking their phone, being like, "What happened?"
Ocean's 11. Yeah.
Yeah. There was actually a jewelry store in Glendale that just got robbed by people who had one of those things. They were like professional. They flew to America from like somewhere in South America. I think they were like from Argentina or something, and they were like professional, like Ocean's 11 style burglars, and they set off one of those things and it knocked out cell phone service for like all of Glendale for like a couple hours, so like no one could call the police. And they like, robbed a jewelry store. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, that's cool.
There will be a movie about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want to talk robberies and surveillance and all of this fun stuff that we're going to get to. But before we do, David, we want to ask you about your history with grocery stores.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Detroit, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And what are your first memories of like Detroit grocery stores, shopping with your parents, things like that?
So the grocery store we used to go to as a kid was called Farmer Jack, which went out of business maybe 10 years ago now. But that was our like local grocery store. It's a chain in Detroit. In fact, they the TV show Detroiters did like a little homage to Farmer Jack.
We talked about that with Nate, your podcast co-host, who also is from Detroit. He had no idea what we were talking about.
Oh, yeah, it was kind of sad when they closed because there was a woman who worked there who she had worked there like my entire childhood. It was like her only job, and like I remember when they were closing, I was like, I don't know what she's gonna do now. She's got to reorient her whole life. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, I have fond memories of grocery stores when I was a kid. I remember me and my brother sort of running amok. Like when my mom would be grocery shopping. Me and my brother were running around and like throwing things. And I remember at one point we were like throwing toys like over the aisles to each other, and we literally got kicked out of the grocery store. But like my mom didn't know about it. So like she came out when she was done like half an hour later, and she's like, "Where were you guys?" And we're like, "Oh, we were just walking around."
If that was in 2020 or even like 2015, your mom would have thought you had been abducted, right? Like
Yeah.
people are so afraid of like strangers taking kids in Costco
Yeah.
and dyeing their hair in the bathroom.
Yeah, I didn't put that together, but I was like 10 and my brother was 7, and we were just out of her sight for 45 minutes, and she didn't care. So,
I would have been, if I got hit by like a toy flying at me in a grocery store, I'd been fucking furious. Like I'd have snitched on you. I do not want to get hit in the head with a toy when I'm like deciding which can of peas I'm gonna get. Right?
yeah.
You'd have been toast in my book.
Yeah, it was weird. It's weird because when you're a kid, like adults are mostly nice to you, but that was one of the few times where like the guy who worked at Farmer Jack was pissed, and now rightfully so. And when I think back, but yeah, just my overall grocery store experience. Yeah, I have very fond memories. Every time my mom would go grocery shopping, she would always take us because yeah, I think eventually we switched over to Kroger. Like a lot of the town did. They opened up a Kroger like right across the street, and they forced Farmer Jack out of business, and we were part of the problem. We showed no brand loyalty.
That poor woman that only had ever worked at the Farmer Jack's. I mean, you kind of signed her death warrant.
Yeah. Yeah, and now my experience with grocery stores is I live in Grocery City, USA, Los Angeles. I mean, the amount of grocery stores per square foot, you can't go anywhere without seeing a grocery store.
And they're big. I mean, do Detroit grocery stores compare to LA grocery stores, like size-wise?
Not really, and not definitely selection-wise. The one thing is, Detroit has a very big Middle Eastern population, so there's an area of Detroit called Dearborn, and they had a grocery store called Super Greenland. I wonder if Nate also talked about this, but they used to have this deal on Wednesdays where like all their produce was half off, and they had all this specialty, like they made their own hummus, they made all this, that was really good, and they like had a little booth that made falafel sandwiches, and that's the one thing I miss is like, I don't have that, but I'm sure if I looked I could find something. But yeah, overall it's just, I guess they're big. Everything in Detroit, is just sort of like big, and you drive your car to. It's like car culture, like LA, but just not the selection. Like the selection here is crazy, where you can just like any sort of part of the world you can imagine, there's a grocery store that sells just food from there.
Is there any regional kind of brands, local brands that you miss from that area?
Yeah, there's a company called Better Made that I like because they just sell like chips and stuff that are just okay, but it's like they're rarely really proud of the fact that they're union, that like all the employees are unionized, and it's like on the bag, and like the fact that the employees are taken care of is like a big part of the marketing, which I like. So I'd support them, and then
Happy people make happy chips.
yeah, exactly. And then of course Faygo, for spraying on people.
Were you a Faygo drinker?
Yeah. Weirdly, Faygo was odd because they are the only soda company that sold 3 liters. So they're like slightly bigger than the 2 liter. And then they're a strange company because they literally started, I think, in the 40s or 50s as like a cake company. And they had all these flavors that were like cake frosting flavors that they were like, man, cake frosting just ain't selling like it used to. Let's just make some soda out of it. And so like a lot of the flavors are really like, there's one called Moon Mist, which is like their blue flavor. There's Rock and Rye. There's one called Red Pop. And actually, like, I grew up saying pop instead of soda, but I've like trained myself to say soda because I realize no one knows what I'm talking about.
Faygo has like a elevated brand, and then it has like a version of it, and then it has like the one that the ICP sprays at each other. Am I wrong? Me and Nate used to run a movie theater in Detroit, and we would, because the elevated ones were sold in glass bottles, and so it kind of looked fancy, and yeah, we sold those there. And you can get those at Gelco's in LA. It's really strange. It's just really strange because it's like sold with all of like the high end like sodas, but like I just have it in my mind as what ICP sprayed at Juggalos.
So when you come to LA, like what's your first, like you called it kind of the land of grocery stores? I'm paraphrasing you, but like it was a whole new world of grocery stores for you?
Oh yeah. And it took me a while to figure out. In fact, when I came here, I was so confused. I was such a noob. I often confused Vons and John's. That's how new I was. Because there was, again, if you're not from LA, you don't know this, one of the big grocery stores out here is Vons. Then there's like a parasite grocery store that made their logo look like Vons, and it only exists to trick people who think they're going into a Vons, but it's not. It's John's. And John's is not as good as Vons.
I'm a John's defender.
You're a John's defender, okay.
Yeah, I like John's. The good thing about John's is they specifically pay attention to the demographics of the neighborhood that they're in, and so and then they will get like hyper specific items to support the populations that are there. So anyway, you go to one in Koreatown, it will feel drastically different than one in the Valley, and you can get some really cool specialty stuff at John's. So yeah, I'm a John. Besides that, it's just kind of a second tier grocery store. But
I need to go back to John's. I haven't been since I was first confused and walking in there on accident.
And Vons is just a big Safeway. I mean, it's just a Safeway rebrand. So
yeah,
nothing local about that. No local interest there at the Vons.
No. But yeah, I guess just to go back, when I first moved to LA, I was very overwhelmed. It took me a long time to find out what my grocery stores were going to be. That's like part of like, finding your place in LA. It's like finding your grocery stores.
Where did you settle and where did you land at first?
So when I was living in Highland Park, I was very close to a Smart and Final. I remember walking over and being like sort of impressed at the time because we didn't have any equivalent of that in Detroit, of like whatever a Smart and Final is, like half a grocery store, half a restaurant depot. And then so I'm trying to think back when I was in Highland Park where I first lived for my first 10 years here. It was like a mix of that. There was a Trader Joe's in walking distance, the first Trader Joe's ever, the one in Pasadena, the super tiny one. And that was like it was like a half-hour walk for me. So it was like, go walk over, get a couple things, get back, get like an hour walk in. It was like perfect. And then at first I was doing Vons a lot. I was like a Vons loyalist, but at a certain point I realized Vons is kind of overpriced. So,
Vons will break your heart. I had my heart broken by Vons recently. Like, put that on the fucking sign. We're here to break your heart.
how did Vons break your heart?
I mean, so when I lived in LA, I grew up going to Pavilions, which is like kind of the fancier Vons. They had one in Long Beach. It wasn't our main store, but we'd go there every once a month to get the fancier, higher end stuff.
Yeah.
And then I lived in Echo Park near what I think is considered like one of the worst Vons in the world. I have a friend who's been like almost stabbed there like twice.
Ooh.
It's across from the Vista, right? That's the one.
No, not the Vista one. No, the one by the Echoplex.
Oh, okay.
Where Taco Zone, the taco place, used to be, kind of, if that makes sense. It's just really dingy, really tiny. All the food was like about to expire. It's pretty gnarly. And then when I moved to Yucca Valley, there was not a lot of grocery stores when I first moved here, and there was a Vons, and I was like, oh, this is like, the LA place that I know, and it was like generally considered to be higher end and like considered to be more expensive. And while there's still a few things that I can just really still only get at the local Vons, it's like really badly run, and it's kind of turning into the Echo Park one. Like, I'm worried that I might get stabbed there. Like, It's not dangerous. It just like feels really chaotic, and it's not a fun place to go. And so I've had my heart broken by Vons 2 different times, and first time shame on Vons, second time shame on me for going to Vons.
I listened to some podcasts where they like put in like locally targeted ads, and it's for Vons Pavilions, and it's Ryan Seacrest, and it's really strange because it always starts with, "Hey, this is Ryan Seacrest for Vons Pavilions," and then it's just Ryan Seacrest like reading like what the weekly specials are, where he's just like, "We got baked beans," and blah blah. It's like, wow.
That feels like a fall,
Yeah.
He probably doesn't need the money that much.
Yeah, I don't know.
We were talking about this a little bit last week, but I actually, in my job as a radio guy, I'm a spokesperson for our local grocery outlets. We have a special segment on the morning show that I do. It's the Jeff's Grocery Outlet Bargain of the Week, where I tell you the thing that I bought, and you should go buy it as well. It's really fun to do. I don't begrudge Ryan Seacrest for doing that.
I gotta say, because I hadn't thought about them. Grocery Outlet Bargain Market, #1, great song. Gets stuck in my head all the time. #2, they opened one in Highland Park, like maybe the last couple of years I lived there, and I would go down there sometimes. Great deals. Although I did one time buy fish from there that got me sick. I think it had been out too long.
From Grocery Outlet?
Yeah, sorry. I know this is your sponsor. I don't want to get you in trouble.
I've dissed them on our podcast before, but actually I think that's the best place to buy fish, at least in our area.
Oh, okay. I got sick one time.
Yeah, well, you get sick from everywhere. I've had to return meat to all the stores around here. David, how often do you shop in a week? What's your shopping habits as a grown man?
I think now I'm down to twice a week. And a lot of times it's just because it's a good excuse to get out of the house. Like if I've been in the house too long, I'll just like go up and buy like, I don't have anything in mind, just a couple things. And in fact, it makes Petra really mad because she always grocery shops with a list and like comes back with exactly like what we need to make several meals. And I don't. I just like kind of vibe it out and like, oh, okay, maybe that, maybe this, and just have some like random stuff that doesn't add up to anything. But at this point, I'm like, I would say twice a week because I've been higher. Like when I was in Highland Park, because there was enough in walking distance, frequently it would be like, I'm going to go on a walk. I guess the point of the walk is that at some point I'll stop at a grocery store and then I'll come back. But there's not really much in walking distance from where I'm at now. So now it's like once or twice a week.
Which two are you? You go to Ralph's or what?
Now, yeah, nowadays it's, well, the closest ones to me are there's a Ralph's and a Trader Joe's. It's like the USC Trader Joe's. I live really close to USC. And actually the big thing that moving here that I had to adjust to is there are some grocery stores that are so close to the college campus that they're like overrun with college kids. Mm-hmm. And at first that was fun because like I just realized like I was overhearing college type conversations that I haven't heard since I was like in my 20s. Like I remember I was at a Vons, or no, it was the Ralph's right next to USC, and I heard one kid being like, yeah, man, I got back to the dorm last night and Jason was like passed out in my bed and I couldn't even wake him up. uh, but yeah, then at a certain point, it was like I was getting actually annoyed with being around like a cramped space with like 20-year-olds. So I've reoriented to the other Ralphs that doesn't have college kids.
What's the clientele there?
That's just like local, like people, like families who live around here.
I've been to that Ralph's a bunch. It's stressful. Yeah. And for some reason, I'm always going there on like 4th of July or something. So it's equal. It's especially because everybody's going to party. Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks. It's hard to park. It's chaotic. It's too much. I go to Sprouts sometimes. I do like my Sprouts. And then, yeah, Ralph's and Trader Joe's. Those are my three. Those are the basics. But then, you go out and you explore and you try different ones.
Are we ready to dig into the topic at hand?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
David, we sent you a few topics to pick from, and I don't know if there was like any exclamation mark, but you seemed pretty enthusiastic about talking about grocery store surveillance.
Yeah. Well, full disclosure, Nate has been on this podcast, and he told me that you guys do a lot of research, and that one seemed enticing because I actually don't know anything about the surveillance at grocery stores. So hearing like the history of it or what is actually going on has me very curious. That and surveillance generally has me interested. Like it feels weird that you're always being watched. And I ran into an old friend recently who I hadn't seen in a long time. And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, man, I'm actually doing really well right now. I have like a really good paying job. Like I'm actually making more money than I've ever made in my life. But like, I still steal from grocery stores. It's just like the principle of the thing. And it just makes me wonder about like, it's weird. It's weird like when you go to like the U-scan and there's like, you see yourself on the camera and you're like leaning in, you're like haven't seen yourself, you haven't looked in the mirror that day and you're like, damn, you need to take a shower.
I have to ask, what's a U-scan?
The self-scan or whatever, the self-checkout.
Okay, I didn't know that they're putting cameras on. I mean, I read about it, but I didn't know that they were being implemented. Like, we don't have those in the desert, at least.
Oh, okay, yeah, all over LA, they always.
They have them at the Home Depot, Jeff. Do you ever do self-checkout at your Home Depot?
I'm sorry to brag. I know too many people at the Home Depot to do self-checkout. I always want to chat with the folks that are there. So.
That's awesome.
David, I know that you have a bit of a anti-authority streak as well. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been a problem, but the older I get, the more I'm just like, that's who I am. It's fine.
I wasn't surprised to see you take a look at surveillance. So that you were interested in taking it down a peg.
Oh, we're taking it down? I thought we were going to...
This is a pro surveillance.
Yeah, pro surveillance.
So, Adam, why do you love surveillance?
Yeah, exactly. Well, let me tell you about the new AI that's coming. I mean, that's going to be a big part of what.
Oh God,
yes, but, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I guess before we started recording, and I'm really excited to dig into this, and I don't know how much you want to go into it, but when I was first looking into surveillance, I was like looking at it from a really big philosophical angle, and I know Adam was as well, and we were like looking like deep historical stuff. Like I was looking at like literary criticism where they're talking about like, what does the camera actually truly capture? And like, does that art, and is it actually like a representation of the world, or is it its own specific thing? And I kind of got a little lost in that rabbit hole and didn't want to bring that to the table today. But I know, Adam, you found your own like little philosophical hole to jump into, right?
Yeah. I mean, I started to read about panopticon, and then Bentham, and I can talk about this if you guys want.
Real quick, it's the panoptivons.
Yeah. So I'll do like a super Cliff Notes version. I always thought of the way people use panopticon these days is like everybody's watching each other, and that is the surveillance and stuff like that. That's kind of colloquially how I sort of understood it. And that's not actually what it was. It was, there's one guy who is watching all the prisoners, and the invention is that they don't actually know whether they're being watched at any given moment, but they know they could be watched at any given moment. So that's the panopticon.
I mean, structurally, it's like a big cylinder, and like the prisoners are on the outside perimeter of the cylinders, and then there's like the tower in the middle, and the prisoners can't see into the tower, so they don't know if they're being watched, when they're being watched, but it's like always possibility that somebody is watching them, right?
Correct. That's right. And the idea is that because of that possibility, then they will, regulate their behavior so they don't get in trouble. Yeah. And the weird thing is that Bentham, I also always thought of it as sort of like a cautionary tale, like a Schrodinger's cat, sort of a thought experiment kind of a thing. But no, Bentham really wanted this to exist. He was a philosopher, but he was like, no, this is a thing that we should do, and this will be good for society because prisoners won't be whipped as much and stuff. So he was, it was different than I thought it was.
So did they actually build one? Like, is there a real panopticon somewhere?
So not in his lifetime. And apparently he wrote a lot of angry letters towards the end of his life that like nobody was taking it seriously. But shortly after that they did. And I think one of the most famous ones might actually be Cuba. And apparently it was immediately in disrepair, and it did not go well, and it didn't go as expected.
Yeah, I would think you can watch everyone, but you're probably just going to be like watching your phone in that little booth.
Yeah. So then Foucault comes around, and he basically flipped it on its head, and he created the interpretation that I think most of us sort of colloquially use it, which is more like, analyzing the power that this structure creates and actually saying, quote, in short, the inmates are caught up in a power situation of which they themselves are the bearer. So he's saying that because they are observers, they have the power of watching, and that becomes the self-reinforcing system. So that's how a lot of people use panopticon these days, but that's not the original intention.
The one thing that makes me think about everyone watching each other, and like you might not actually be being watched, but you always have the feeling that you're being watched, is I've heard that like when you're in a grocery store and you see they put the cameras in these like black domes, like you can't really see into it. Mm-hmm. And apparently they do that because they're like only like a third of them actually have cameras in them, but you don't know which one, so you think all of them have cameras.
But also you don't know what direction it's pointing.
Yeah,
it's literally panopticon. He imagined like shades in front, so you couldn't see the direction of the guy watching. So yeah.
Going back to when I was like a very young kid, I'd hang out at like Target in Long Beach. Like me and probably future guest of the podcast, Hank Friedman, used to like bike down to Target and like you and your brother David cause a ruckus and like move shit around and like hide stuff that we wanted to buy later. And we were always mindful of the dome cameras that were up on the ceiling. I think we operated under the assumption that none of them were working and that it was just a scare tactic.
I think so, because like also like if there's a million cameras, like you only have how many people do you have working back there watching? They can't like watch everything.
So at grocery stores, I mean, I try to figure this out. At grocery stores, it seems like nobody. It seems like they are just recording. And if something happens that they need to later show the police, they can go back and they can do it. But there's nobody actually there at grocery stores. I think Walmart and Target might be a different situation where they actually hire some people to be more actively.
Well, they're probably watching the employees.
So I did find this. It's a Reddit thread actually, and it's very funny to me. They are saying. It's from the Reddit thing, no stupid questions. So I guess this is where you're allowed to just like be a huge dumbass. But they say, how do grocery store cameras never catch shoplifters? And this pretty wise poster gets into it. I mean, I think this is all stuff that's obvious if you think about it, but it's not the stuff that you always think about it. It's like, they can't have people watching it all the time. They're not watching the security like footage, or if they are, even if there is a guy watching the security footage, like, he can't see every single corner of the grocery store at once. But if somebody does a big theft or is a frequent thief, they have this archive that they can kind of go back to and use for prosecution.
Mm.
But even then, it's like really rare to prosecute shoplifters, I guess. Like, I mean, if you're going in and stealing the entire meat case and like all the gear and like the freezer stuff, then they'll probably prosecute. But I don't know if we want to get into this. They did here in California did change the rules on how they prosecute shoplifting as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, nowadays, if they made Les Miserables, you'd get busted, by surveillance. So you took some bread. But yeah, what is the rule with the shoplifting? It's like if you get less than $10,000, they won't prosecute or something. Or
I think the new law, at least in California, that I'm seeing, and our local sheriff's department is really interested in publicizing this. I do the news and the morning show for the radio station I work in, and they are constantly sending out press releases if you have like 3 convictions for petty theft, or if you have 2 convictions for petty theft, the third one they can prosecute you for felony like repeat offender.
Oh damn!
And it's like a legislation that was like passed in California like last year. It took effect in 2025, and it's getting more people into the system, I suppose, but cracking down on shoplifting as well. So
yeah, it's hard when it's like food. Like you need food to live. Like it's hard to be like, you got busted. You stole food again. You already had food. Why are you taking food again?
Yeah. So one of the things I read, which is a weird statistic, and I almost don't know what to make of it, but in New York City, in a single year, 33% of all grocery store shoplifting came from 650 people, which is a huge city, and that's not many people at all. So, yeah. So I guess some people are shoplifting a lot.
Man, how are you? Like, I didn't know that there was like the super stealers. Like, what are they doing? Just starting their own grocery stores?
Again, they already ate. What are they doing again? Eating again? Get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that I learned is that, when they use the word shrink, it doesn't just mean theft. Like anytime I've ever worked in a store or something like that, they talk about shrink. Oh, we got to reduce shrink. And they're always sort of basically implying they mean shoplifters. But theft or shrink really just means any like loss of product, which a lot of it in grocery stores happens due to spoilage. A lot of it has to do with like weird delivery errors where the truck doesn't arrive, or some stuff like that. So the percentage of shrink that is shoplifting is actually much smaller than you would expect, but they sort of play with these numbers to make it seem what they want you to think, essentially.
Yeah.
It's not their fault that the meat is going bad and they've had to throw it out. It's that everybody stole all the meat all the time.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing. They also, when they calculate losses, they calculate it based on what they think they would have made. So not based on their cost of the product. That's also kind of a weird thing because you don't even know whether that beef would have sold in the first place, but they're counting it as loss.
Grocery stores, I know they try. Like I go there. You were telling me on our podcast, Adam, about that app that tells you, the deals grocery stores have like towards the end of the day when stuff's about to go bad. Specifically, sushi usually. It's
called Too Good to Go for
Too Good to Go. But that was my grocery store jam for a little bit. Is I would swing by Vaughn's at like 10 o'clock right before they closed because I knew they were trying to get rid of the sushi. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame that they're just exaggerating that all the food they had that is just going to be going bad and saying it's theft. And
I was gonna make fun of you a little bit for eating expired sushi, but I will be honest with you. I always take my sushi leftovers home and eat them the next day, so I am not one to talk, and I always feel totally fine and great about doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it was made that morning. It's just one day.
Okay, so here's an actual number just to get some facts. this is in 1994, so take it with some kind of grain of salt. Employee theft accounted for 56% of shrink. So employee theft. Shoplifting was 24%. Delivery errors were 10%, and 10% was due to damage and spoilage and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you're taking food home from the grocery store, that's like if you work in an office and take home like some pens or a notebook or whatever, I'm taking home, a pot roast, whole chicken, bunch of carrots. David, it's like if you took home a big fistful of Campanelli noodles,
I will. That's tomorrow, day one. I'm doing that.
You're allowed to steal from work. That's the whole thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, now I'm forgetting, too, because you asked me my history of grocery stores. My first job was a grocery store at a Kroger. And you know what? I was too young to know that I should have stole there more. I don't think I stole anything there. Except, I guess, their time, because I was not working most of the time.
What were you doing? Just hanging out in the back, smoking?
Not smoking, but hanging out. And actually, I got fired from that job because, everybody who worked there, we were all like 13, 14, or like 14 or 15 now that I think about it. And it was all of our first job. And we were like, we were at work and we were like, hey, you guys want to just go bowling? We are like, yeah. And then they're like, if we all walk off, they can't fire all of us. And they're like, yeah, good idea. And so all of us, the entire staff of courtesy clerks, walked down to a bowling alley and went bowling. And then the next day, I just showed up for work again. And they called me into the office and they were like, I know this is your first job, but you know that when you walk off a job, that means that you quit. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And then I quit.
Did you feel surveilled at any time while you were working?
Not really, because I knew I had been to every part of the grocery store, so I knew that no one was watching us. And we would just fuck around. I remember at one point we had to go collect the carts, and also we kind of resented them because they were kind of shitty to us. I remember one time there was a lightning thunderstorm, and they were still telling us to go out and get carts. And we're like, are we really gonna go push these metal carts around while there's lightning going on? And so I remember we were so mad about that. The next day we were behind the Kroger throwing the shopping carts over a fence into a neighborhood.
Was your brother on the other side of the fence?
Yeah, it was our big grocery cart scam. We invented Jackass.
So I'm getting back to surveillance, and when we think of the surveillance, we do think of cameras and security guards, but something I've noticed in a lot of grocery stores ever since I've been growing up, and independent of the technology, this totally ties back in with the panopticon thing. So many grocery stores have the 2-story office in the front, and then they have the mirrored window where you presume that the manager and the assistant manager are working at their desk, typing away at spreadsheets, and always occasionally available to glance out onto the checkout, glance all the way to the end of the store. That is kind of panopticon-y of my local Stater Brothers at the very least. But I feel that was a common thing I remember from growing up. The man in the high tower watching you.
Yeah. I guess they also have employees going around watching you, but they don't seem to be watching you. Honestly, in grocery stores, I don't know how seen. I don't feel very seen in grocery stores. I mean, I guess they are. But yeah, that booth. I know what you're talking about. The man in the high tower booth. They always have the black window, the two-way glass almost.
Yeah.
Right by the front. Yeah, I guess maybe they are back there watching, but I just feel them watching. That's something that their boss expects them to do, but no one actually does.
I mean, these days the boss is up there looking at his phone mostly, I imagine.
Yeah.
There's I'm trying to find it because I can't find it right now, but I did read an article talking about how the bosses, again, there's always this sort of balance between, are we penalizing our customers, or not, kind of a thing. But they talk about that they want the right amount of, it's like Goldilocks. They want the right amount of surveillance where the criminals feel watched, but average law abiding customers don't really think about it too much. That's sort of what they're targeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It just feels like, I don't know. I'm not trying to like repeat conservative talking points, but yeah, it does feel like at least in California, like it's really not hard to shoplift. And they don't really care.
Yes.
But I think that's a good thing.
David, I assume that you have shoplifted a lot from groceries in general and from grocery stores as well.
Mostly from grocery stores. Honestly, that might be the only place I've really ever shoplifted. Or no, one time I stole socks from a Target. But mostly I've only grocery stores. Because it's like, and it's always just like it's always in the plausible deniability sort of way where you put like something at the bottom of the cart, and when you push it out, if someone's like, hey, that stuff, you never paid for that stuff, you can be like, oh, totally slipped my mind. And then you can go back. But that's my style, I would say. And I'll buy some stuff, but you throw in a couple for yourself. One for me, one for Daddy.
Adam, I want to ask you about your shoplifting, but I had this written down to talk about where I've never shoplifted anything ever. I'm such a square. I'm such a nerd. And recently I was and this is not a grocery store, I was at a Lowe's buying my partner, I think I had like 12 or 13 potted plants and some other stuff to like set up for the potted plants. And I was going to the self-checkout at Lowe's, and I was like a little miffed at how badly it was run and how expensive things were. And I really tried to do the scam where I just like forgot to scan one of the items. And when the lady working the self-checkout like made me go return one of the potted plants because it didn't have a barcode on it. And she's like, oh no, you just go return it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go leave my shit here and go return it. And I came back, and while I was away, she like counted all of my pots and like tabulated everything that I had scanned already, and totally busted me for trying to like sneak in one fucking potted plant. So.
Okay, maybe it was wise that you didn't, because you're bad at it.
Yeah.
One time you did it, you got caught.
I'm a really bad liar. I look shifty to start with.
But you left the amount of items and the screen tabulating the amount of items just open.
Well, she made me. I was like, can't you go replace this thing that I picked out that doesn't have a price tag? It's like, no, you go do it. And I'm like, it was just like a shitty experience. So
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like a ceramic pot. Was that cost $1? Lady.
It was like the plan. It was probably $15. I was trying to scam a $15 plan out of Lowe's. So,
okay.
Adam, are you a thief?
I had a period of my life where I was a huge shoplifter, like insane to the point of feeling bad at certain points. But yeah, I would take like the large. One time I took a giant goose. Like, I think you're supposed to put it on your lawn. I'm not sure why, but like a giant like fake goose.
Of all the things you can chop like.
Yeah, but I had to keep getting bigger and bigger, so.
To get the same thrill.
Yeah. Exactly.
Started with gum, but that was the gateway. Like a month you're up to geese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's a thing called left-handing where you hold, whatever, like a gum or something like that in your hand, and you pay for a Coca-Cola over here, and then you just walk out and basically.
Oh, okay.
So
I like you even know the lingo.
Yeah.
I think in our grocery store podcast, like 10 episodes or so, like we're going to be the number one source for like petty theft tips on the internet. Like we've gone to a lot of like petty theft topics, which I'm here for. I love it.
Yeah.
So, did you ever get caught shoplifting? Did anybody like say, "Sir, I saw you on this security camera shoplifting"?
No, not with the security cameras, but at a Ralph's one time, yeah, I did have the thing where I walked out and the guy was like, he's like, excuse me, I think you forgot to pay for that. I think he's like trying to be like nice because like, yeah, the soda's underneath, or like the LaCroix underneath clearly wasn't paid for, and I was like, oh, my bad, and then just
Yeah, I never got caught.
Hell, oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've witnessed a good amount in LA. Like, I have seen people like literally just pushing out full grocery carts just right out the store, and if you have the guts,
Yeah,
you can do it.
do it. Absolutely.
If I saw a lady get caught at the Walmart by your house,
Wow, they're not nice over at the Walmart in Yucca Valley. So, so if you're gonna get caught stealing, there's a few ways that they can do it. Obviously, like, security is bumped up here in 2025, but we've got the security camera surveillance system that's been in place for 40 years. That's what I saw, Adam. Retail security surveillance, like, camera stuff has been since like the 80s.
yeah, that seems about right.
But I believe it started in the 40s as like a military tool, like very specialized military tool. Like, I know when you think of like the rotating security camera, you think GoldenEye, and you think of the 64 pixelated James Bond shooting out the cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was for military installations, and it didn't really take on outside of like the, like, you know, specialized, like, I don't know if we need to get in the whole military industrial complex, but I'm sure that there were like weapons manufacturers and like high-end security stuff saying, you got to have these closed circuit TVs to be like $7 million to set it up in this one warehouse or whatever. But when like VHS stuff became really popular in the 80s, it became more feasible for retail to like bring it in like the smaller level. It wasn't like, so I guess it took like 40 years to really catch on in like a day-to-day sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how much in grocery stores originally came from the U.S. military. Tang was that was from astronauts, right?
Yeah.
Surveillance cameras.
Yes. Chili
Sure, there's
powder.
more.
Yeah, chili powder they used to throw in the guy's eyes on the battlefield. Eggs. It was a government genetic experiment on chickens to get eggs.
Oh yeah.
But it is a classic example of how militarization always comes home. It's you know, any advantage, any like futuristic military thing that you see in the battlefield, you can just wait 20 years or 40 years and it will be in your front yard. And we see it with every single thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to work, just speaking of VHS camera surveillance systems, I used to work at like a movie theater, and it was, my friend was the manager, so I could like just go into the booth where they had the old school VHS surveillance cameras, and I still have one of the tapes at my house, because we used to like just after hours. It just makes me think to what you were saying in the beginning, Jeff, because you were talking about the idea of like, is surveillance footage art? Because we used to sort of use those to sort of like make weird movies after hours. Like, we would just stand in front of certain cameras and do weird shit, and then like just have it on the tape.
Adam and I have been talking about, we haven't done it yet, but we were talking about like hiring a photographer to like just go into a grocery store at like 6:30 in the morning on a Sunday when it's empty and like take professional photos of us in the aisles.
Yeah.
But, you know, I know people at grocery stores, maybe we can just like do some poses and then like hit up the people and be like, hey, can we get like, you know, the security footage from like, you know, 6:35 to 6:39, and then maybe that could be the publicity photo.
I think we should do it all, and I think we should do that. I think we should hire someone. You're making me want to ask whatever professional photographer that we hire to take like a creep shot, like behind some cans, something like that, and you and me talking. Yeah.
So, do we have anything more on the history of these surveillance systems, Adam? Anything you wanted to hit?
No, I'm much more in the present.
Okay. I do have some information about how these security systems are designed, like the specific layout and like where you actually want to put cameras, where you want to put real cameras, where you want to put the fake dome cameras. But it's pretty interesting. It comes from another Reddit thread where a guy is like, I'm trying to set up a grocery surveillance system in my family market that we've had for generations, and it's like a pretty small thing. And this extremely wise person comes in and like lays out the important places you want to have actual cameras in your grocery store. And they hit on the same thing, that it's a lot of like employee theft. So it's like you want to have cameras focused on the cash registers is kind of the main thing. You want the exits covered so you can catch people going in and going out, which I think speaks to when you're trying to prosecute somebody. Like, it's probably more helpful to have somebody carrying out a bunch of bananas very quickly than it is to have a camera focused on the stand that has the bananas where they're picking up the bananas, because that doesn't prove that they're stolen anything, you know? They say that you don't really want to put cameras in the parking lot, even though that there is a huge amount of stalking. But he's like, but don't worry about the stalking. That's not your responsibility.
Wait, did he say any more explanation about cameras in the parking lot?
It says if you really want the car park, that's nice, but it's a hassle and most stores don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm surprised because there's a lot of like car accidents.
I've got some stuff about that. But well,
let me just finish with this guy, which I think is very interesting. He says you want cameras in health and beauty because that's a high theft area. And something I didn't even think about, you want tons of cameras over the fruit and vegetable sections because that's where people, quote, slip and fall and then sue. So he's like, to protect your own ass, you don't want, like, if somebody says, oh, the sprinklers were on and the cabbages were dripping and I slipped in cabbage water, like, you want to be able to prove that they are just, like, doing their, taking a dive for the lawsuit money.
Okay, I had never even thought about that. I'm just sitting here shoplifting like a tomato. I need to be going for the big money. Trying to sue.
It's the HR department where, I guess nobody thinks that the surveillance footage is there to protect the shopper, but it's there for bigger fish than a guy putting, some cans of tuna in his pocket or like doing the left handing on the gum. It's like, it's bigger things that they're really keeping the eye out for.
So do either of you find out, do these grocery stores, do they just handle all their security themselves, or do they hire like outside companies to do all this, or?
Yeah, they hire out. It's different for everybody, but very, very often you will see a security guard in front.
Oh, right. Yeah. In LA, I always see that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And so those are the people that, they will flag them and they are, I looked into the legal stuff because I was trying to see, like, do they have more legal rights of detaining and like how that all works? But no, the security guard and every employee has an equal ability to actually detain someone, which is a little dark.
So they can detain people?
Yeah, it's called shopkeeper's privilege. And it's a very old U.S. law that still exists. And it basically says that, it's like, when you go to the back, and they show you the footage, it's like they're allowed to detain you for as long as it takes to question you about the direct incident, and as long as they don't use lethal or could be lethal force.
Whoa. Can they handcuff you?
Yes, I think.
Oh, wow.
Is it like the casino where if they take you into the back room and we don't have any cameras in this room and then they break your legs? Casinos aren't illegally allowed to break legs also. But
I'm sure a lot of dark stuff has happened in those back rooms. So
yeah, grocery stores like casinos run by the mafia mostly.
They can't break legs in the grocery store, but they can grab your carton and break the eggs. They got a little ball peen hammer, and they're like, "How do you like this?" And they break one of the dozen, and then two of the dozen, and then three of the dozen until you confess.
Who you work for?
Yeah,
who do you work for? That's crazy. I was under the assumption that they could just call the cops. I didn't realize they can actually like hold you. That's insane.
Yeah. It's dark, but I guess for lawsuit reasons, because it's a real gray area, it's that they generally employees are trained not to do that. And I think the security guards are more trained, and that's essentially the difference between them.
What were you saying about the parking lot cameras? Like what were you learning about surveillance in parking lots?
So everything that you read in the past 2 years is about AI. And so when I go to Sprouts, it's a one parking lot is taken up with this. And I first saw this in New York, when we used to live there 15 years ago. But it's like this thing that you can rise up with cameras and lights and stuff like that. It takes up one parking lot, and I think a human can go in there, but I also think you can control it, remotely. So it's there to basically potentially take video of the entire parking lot. But Home Depot has rolled out an AI thing in the parking lot. So Home Depot's not exactly a grocery store, but it's close enough, that are now able to scan license plates, the colors, the scrapes, and the dents of individual vehicles. The technology can tip off the company to the arrival of a car suspected of thefts at other stores.
That's why you got to walk to the grocery store. You don't want them having any information on me when I come in the doors.
So, but they apparently can analyze your gait.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the AI, apparently they don't.
Well, I'm going to skip when I go in. How about that?
That guy's got a pork loin in his pants. He's just, you can tell by the way that he walks. He's a pork loin man and he's got no time to talk.
But pretty much every article. So first of all, this is a complete aside. Google is broken. Google's fucked. I fucking hate Google right now.
Yeah. Because of AI.
Yes, exactly. So when I searched, surveillance in grocery stores, or I searched like cameras in grocery stores or whatever, anything like that, all of the top 20 stuff are like weird venture capital, like AI type companies that are trying to get, that are able to game the system and to get to the top of the algorithm. And then when you research, if you watch a video like Fox, these local news that are always like sensationalized, it's just an AI company, surveillance AI company that like essentially convinced Fox to do a free commercial for them about how amazing their technology is at stopping theft. So basically it's this constant scam. And I think even going back to cameras and stuff like that, it's a constant scam where they're trying to convince people that this violent theft is rampant and you must stop it. Otherwise, it'll be over. And then therefore you need to buy my product. And they're probably spending almost as much on these dumb, wasteful products as they are, losing. But anyway, basically the more you look at the AI stuff, the darker and darker it gets, because like it is very apparent that we are only at we're scratching the surface. Like our next 20, 30 years are going to be consumed by these things following us, and fights about these things following us, and fights about how much information they have. And it's dark. It's heavy stuff.
I know it's not quite a grocery store, but did you hear about Rite Aid being banned from using their facial recognition in their surveillance?
I did. That was Lena Khan, Queen Lena. The best part of the Biden administration was Lena Khan. She is the head of the FTC. But yes, for 5 years, Rite Aid. Sorry if I.
No, go for it.
For 5 years, Rite Aid is not allowed to use facial recognition for surveillance purposes, which it should be forever, right? But at least we got 5 years.
Yeah, and it should be Rite Aid and Thrifty ice cream. I don't want either of them using it.
But they like misidentified people as shoplifters because of the AI. Like it would see this person's face and it would be like, oh, this person is a shoplifter. And it was mostly people of color, of course. But like, did anybody sue them? But like the AI told them, you got to follow this guy around the Rite Aid. And like, it was a huge disaster. And it's like unproven technology, just like falsely accusing tons and tons of people for like the shoplifters.
It's amazing that AI is like no better than just like the regular, like you still wind up with the same results as you did in the 90s. Like it's like there used to just be like a regular racist guy following them around, but now it's like a racist robot doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're taking the jobs of all the racists.
And I'll be honest too, like it's weird to hear about how much AI is doing it, considering like I struggle to have AI like make a pun meme image for me. Because I will tell you, I know I'm not supposed to plug right now, but I'm working on a project that involves making a lot of memes And so I was trying to have ChatGPT help me, and even like really simple joke memes, it can't do. So I definitely don't trust it to be figuring out who's a thief or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it has false positives of a 20-something white man at about 0.8%, and has false positives of a black woman at 37%.
Wow.
So it's really biased. It's not just like marginal. It's like significantly fucked. And I don't know whether that's training or what. And it's almost, and I don't want them to get better necessarily, better at recognizing us. But but I also don't want people of color to be targeted disproportionately. So yeah.
So I did find, and I love corporate speak, Adam. You know that about me. Like, so I did go to some of these like venture capital funded like AI content farm websites, like, and I do have some talking points from some of these AI surveillance companies. Like, you know, they say because the technological system is in place, like the camera system is like all ready to roll. They're basically just like putting the AI into like the computer that's receiving all the footage. So it's not like you have to go like reinstall the AI system. It's like you probably like it's like King's Quest. They give you the 7 floppy disks and you just have to like load it all in.
By the way, I'm loving the elder millennial references I'm getting here. I got King's Quest. I got what was the other one? GoldenEye. Only us three would even know what is being said, but
it's like a software upgrade you do to get the AI like surveillance thing that tells you that all the black guys are stealing from you. You don't even have to like, you know, put in new equipment to have it do that.
Yeah.
And they are also touting it as a way to monitor inventory.
Oh.
So they're saying like the AI can recognize, give you the false positives on who's stealing from you, but also like recognize like, oh, what's out, what's moving fast, and it can like totally give you the real-time upgrades on like, oh, you know, there's a big run on giant cans of tuna fish because Valerie Baker is in town.
Molesting it.
Yeah, her tuna guy's molesting tuna, and there's a big run on big tuna cans to replace what David fucked up. But they're touting it as like a supply chain benefit. But it's like with all AI, like with all surveillance stuff, they're probably going to like start farming the data and like selling it to the highest bidder and things like that. And it's just very sinister, very, very gross. So
yeah. And I mean, I don't trust it to recognize faces, and I also don't even trust it to like count soup cans. Like, I'm sure it's fucked up on that too.
Yeah. Can I tell you something weird? I was driving behind a Waymo the other day, and it was like a weird LA traffic situation with like parked car and someone crossing the street and whatever. And I gotta say, I'm sorry to say, the Waymo did some like advanced LA like driving maneuvering that I was like, oh man, like you figured out like how to go in the right way. That's like a little that you probably shouldn't do, but also everybody would do if you know how to drive here. I was like, damn, you had it down.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I gotta say too, you know, Waymo one time was very polite to me, the Waymo robot, because I was on a very busy street and I was trying to park, and usually in LA people, they don't like stop to let you park. They just keep driving and you just have to wait till you get a good spot to do it. The Waymo stopped all of traffic and waited for me to park. So nice. Thank you, Waymo. I really appreciate it.
You know, a lot of the big chains are like doing like really sophisticated like AI surveillance stuff. Like there's probably more of it around than we think. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because like early technological surveillance is in part like making you, it's like these dome cameras that make you say like, oh, I'm being watched even when you're not. And now it's going to come around where you're probably being watched even though they're not letting you know that you're being watched. And by design, they don't want you to know that you're being watched. But it's like there's stuff with like Wi-Fi where if you like walk into a place with a phone, it will connect to your Wi-Fi on your phone and like give your information about where you've been. It'll give you the movement information as you walk from aisle to aisle and like share all of that. Like it's really like invasive, I guess is the word. Like surveillance has gone from, the guy in the sky, the manager who's glancing over and keeping an eye on things, to like, really, really like invasive, in your pocket, your devices against you kind of surveillance.
Yeah. I wish I was there in the room when they're going over all that information that they're stealing of like the past people are charting around grocery stores. I mean, it's insane to think about how much shit they have on us. I did not know about that, about them connecting to our phones, and
it's a newer thing. I don't know like how legal that is, and like I never understand, when I say something and Instagram is feeding me an ad, but I think they're making it so that like phones can like automatically connect on the Wi-Fi instead of like when you check into a hotel and you have to give the password and it's like, oh, what's the Wi-Fi password? I'm seeing some new tech that is like, they'll just connect you right to the Wi-Fi.
Oh,
no password required.
Yeah. Have either of you been to the Amazon grocery store where there's no checkout? You just like put it in your cart and you walk out and it just knows, like it charges your Amazon account.
No, there isn't one in LA, is there?
Yeah, I think there is. I think Nate went to it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I think there's only one or two.
Okay.
But I was wondering if you guys are on the forefront of grocery stores. You guys,
we talked about it. I didn't know there were, if there is one, I want to go, but I think they might have closed them all down. I think they were kind of a failure.
Yeah, you would think.
Wait, yeah. Amazon did something that was a failure? That doesn't sound right.
There is an Amazon grocery store very close to me, but it's more of a traditional grocery store.
Yeah, the Amazon Fresh. I think I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Adam, anything else we want to hit with surveillance? Let's go.
There's something called surveillance pricing. And the first time I've ever experienced this, and you all have probably experienced something similar, is if you go on Google and you search for a flight, and then it gives you a price, and then you close the tab and you reopen it, and it's a completely different price because basically they have a little cookie and they know that you want that thing, so they know they can raise the price. But if you imagine now that they have all of this data about us, if you use the club card, swipe card, they know what products you normally buy. They know, roughly what gender you are, roughly what race you are, roughly how old you are. And basically then they can change the price for you on the fly. So this is already happening online all the time. Like apparently it's been proven to happen on Amazon. Like if you have an iPhone, they charge you more than if you don't. Or if you have a Mac, more than Windows, stuff like that.
Oh.
But they're also trying to roll it out to physical stores. So you're going to see more, and this is a little more like time based, because I don't know if they can like see you coming and change the price as you're walking up. But price tags are not going to be hard. They're going to be on LED screens so that they can at the tap of a button, just change the price based on all of this data that's coming in and out.
As soon as I walk in, I'm going to see the price just shoot right up. They know what I've done, and they're going to charge me for it.
We got to make our money back on this guy.
Yeah. So the only thing, I've seen those. Maybe you've seen them at grocery stores, or not in like Walgreens or CVS or something. And you go to get a Gatorade or something, and it's not an actual thing. It's like a screen that has pictures of Gatorade. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't seen those.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's not super uncommon, but yeah, it's like I've only seen it at CVS or Walgreens or those kind of thing. But yeah, so you can't see through the cooler. You just see pictures of the items that are there. And basically the reason why is so they can change the price quickly. And also they have tons of cameras that are watching you and scanning you and taking your data while you're
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Giving it to Gatorade.
Yeah. One more fun little development I almost forgot. They're putting I know Walmart and a few other stores are testing this right now, but body cameras for employees at grocery store.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Which they say is for safety, but I just have to assume that it's like just one extra point of surveillance, right? Like when you're checking out and they say, "Oh, did you find everything you need?" They can tell if you're lying and if you're left-handing some gum,
Yeah.
or walking out with your LaCroix under the the carriage of the grocery cart. But
another aspect of that, so there's two major union fights in grocery stores that are happening right now. Costco in some states are unionized, which I actually didn't know, and Stater Brothers. There's a big Stater Brothers union fight, and on both of these, a big part of it is employee surveillance by management. So the employees probably we are made to feel relatively loosey-goosey when we enter a store, but employees do not feel like that. They feel like every single movement, whether they yawn or whatever, is being clocked by someone somewhere. So these body cameras are part of that.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, they're pitching it as like safety. Like, I guess if someone's going to attack the cashier, and
everybody's constantly attacking cashiers, as we know.
It's not like they work at Waffle House. Like those people need body cams. Yeah, that's insane. Because now it's like, yeah, everybody's watching them. They're watching you. Yeah. When I worked at a grocery store, it was amazing that, this was in the 90s, but I just did not feel watched at all because I remember spending hours just telling them like, hey, I'm going to go sweep right now. And I would just kind of go like chill over like buy the bagels or whatever and not do anything. But can't do that anymore. It's sad.
It occurred to me that like if you're putting body cameras on like supermarket employees, they're just like regular people, and like they're going to be wearing the body camera where they're like going to the bathroom and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it occurs to me that cops are probably like, there's probably a bunch of videos of cops using the bathroom who have the body cams.
Yeah.
There's probably a big online market for like cops using the bathroom. Like
the other side of the donut.
I had a fun one to end us on, if y'all will indulge me for a minute. I don't know why it came up in my research, but I don't know what the Steam store is. I'm not such a video game guy, but I found what looks like a terrifying and janky. It's called Supermarket Security Simulator.
Whoa.
And I don't know so much about video games. This really seems like it was like made very quickly out of like existing elements. It's like terrifying to look at. Like it looks like really unsettling, and possibly even made by AI, of course. But the about this game is like the speech that the head security guard gives you when you start on your first day. And I was going to give you guys a little taste of this. I thought it was pretty unhinged. The visuals look absolutely fucking buck wild too. So take a look at that. It's called Supermarket Security Simulator, but it says in the description for about this game, welcome to your first day of work at our supermarket. I know this is your first time working security, so listen up. As security, you will have to keep an eye on people so they don't steal, which entails searching old ladies, keep an eye out for racial slur from stealing from you, and also not so racial slur. If a thief tries to flee, don't be afraid to hit him with a truncheon or electrocute him with a taser. Check the security cameras, which will alert you if they detect someone stealing. They are shitty and sometimes fail, so you have to hit them with a broom to fix them. Watch out for trolleys. Old ladies are trying to take them home. Kids are bastards. Some of them come to eat whatever they want, and when they leave, the package is empty. They often come to rob the supermarket, so be alert, and when you see a robber, you neutralize them with a punch. You will also have to work at night, so don't be afraid. If some robbers come, you can shoot them.
Man, it's a panopticon simulator.
Yeah.
Wow, that is creepy as hell. It reminds me of, have you ever heard of the game Night Trap? It was early 90s full motion. Because that game, you're basically running security cameras. Like the whole game is you just see different cameras of vampire women running through a house and you open up trap doors for them to fall through.
Actually, the most popular indie game of the past 10 years, Five Nights at Freddy's, is running a security camera. So, yeah, I guess that's a common, thing that people like.
Yeah, everyone dreams of one day running security cameras.
Five Nights at Safeway's coming soon. Anything else you want to hit on this topic? Anybody, David?
I chose surveillance because I thought it was probably going to be creepy and I wanted to know more about it. And I was absolutely right. It was worse than I thought. The AI elements are making it worse because there's something about the fact that like AI as of yet still isn't all that good, but there's so much hype around it and so much trust in it that they're just all these big companies are going all in on it. Yeah, I guess I'm scared to go in grocery stores anymore, and I wish there was some sort of option where they just had like an old school no AI grocery store, but I don't know. I guess it doesn't exist.
I saw a post on the internet today that I thought was pretty profound, where it's like you see all these stories of like AI really twisting people's minds and like turning, like driving people insane. And that's because like AI has been on the market for like 2 years, but all the people who are pushing AI are AI CEOs who have been working with AI for like 5 or 10 years. And they're like so far twisted down the rabbit hole. AI is like, run these CEOs through. And like, that's why they're so sold on it. It's like, we're just getting the taste of like AI really like twisting us all up. But the people behind the AI have been twisted for decades.
Oh, jeez.
That's interesting. Yeah, AI psychosis, they call it. Yeah, I didn't think of that. But they are crazy. If you ever hear them talk, they sound like
they've been in the thrall of AI for so long already. That's why they're all ruined people.
Yeah. The thing I heard, too, that was kind of scary is that as of right now, AI as like a sector is like really propping up the American economy because it's sort of like the .com bubble. Like all these companies are like investing in AI and spending in AI, and like eventually the bubble's going to burst when like people realize like this stuff doesn't do the stuff it's supposed to do, and then we're really going to be fucked.
Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of data that says that basically we've reached a technological plateau. I mean, who knows? Famous last words. Some breakthrough might happen, but this idea that it's going to be exponential growth like has not been proven. So it was like we had a few years of, I would admit, pretty crazy, like AI getting better really, really fast. But we've reached a plateau as far as I can tell. So. Yeah.
But grocery stores, they just keep getting better.
Have you seen the peas that they've got? They got 7 different kinds of peas. It used to be just 3.
I didn't know that there was new peas. I got new fruit the other day. I wish I could remember because for years I've been a fan of pluots, the mix of the plum and the apricot. Mm-hmm. This one was a mix of an apricot and a peach, I think. It was like a peot. But not as good as a pluot. A pluot, I'm a fan of. Man should play God with more fruits.
That sounds good. I want to try that apricot and peach.
Yeah, it was good. I still am more pluot coated, but.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us, David. Thank you for joining us. This has been
a tremendous fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun talking about a very dark.
Yeah, fun, scary. It's all the same to me. Whatever, dude.
If people want more of you, where can they find you?
My podcast with other former guests of this podcast, Nate, is called Loose Lips by Loose Meat. We've been going since 2015, so 10 years. And yeah, we're wherever you can get podcasts. And then Adam and I, and you too, Jeff, sometimes when you're in town, we're all part of a group called HLP TV, which is sort of like DIY public access TV station where bands play and we make comedy skits. So check out anything HLP TV. We have a new bit going on there pretty soon about a different kind of store. Adam was there when we filmed that.
I forget.
And it's a store that sells cum.
Oh, yeah.
And those are the main 2 things, Loose Lips and HLP TV.
This is going to come out after Labor Day, but I think Nate's will come out before, so I'll make sure to do a show.
I forgot to bring that up. Labor Day, for years now, every Labor Day we do a thing, our celebration of over-labored puns, where for 24 hours on our Instagram at Loose Meat, we will have a new meme every 15 minutes for 24 hours. So follow us. We'll be doing a live stream, a meme stream, where you can talk to us, give us some ideas, and we'll make a meme in front of you. So
one of the most psychotic events that anybody I know is involved with, but I do love it, and it is one of my favorite days of the year.
Thank you.
Yes. An insane amount of work that you guys put into that.
Yes, my head is like when you made the paw pun to Adam, I I was like, you're in my zone right now. On heaven.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you on the security footage.
Yes. All right, I'll catch you guys later.
All right.
Bye.